Oh, right, I didn't want to do this often, mate. I've got,
Neither Bitcoin nor Ether would be considered securities and thus not under the purview of the SEC. Can you very briefly explain what your reasoning is?
Sure, Bob. These are complex facts and circumstances tests, but when we look at Bitcoin or if we look at Ether and the highly decentralized nature of the networks, we don't see a third-party promoter where applying the disclosure regime would make a lot of sense. So we're comfortable in some sort of viewing these as items that don't have to be regulated as securities.
So, did you notice the pronoun he was using? We. We feel and we think. Remember, nothing gets fired. So, these are his personal views. Who is the we he's talking about? Is he referring to him and his wife in their discussions over dinner about crypto securities laws? Or is he saying that we, the SEC, or to give him the benefit of the doubt, the we is just his department that he heads?
could have just been an innocent mistake.
Which he was the head of is the department of the SEC.
Could have been.
Which provides no action letters, which makes determinations
Or it could have been some other explanation.
And what is not okay to do. And so this affidavit, even if the deposition is not allowed to go forward, is now out there as an exhibit to the third notice motion for Ripple. It's kind of like Rudolph's cute little notes, bravely leading Santa's sleigh through the harsh, blinding snow. And it's a great lesson in how legal cases are like a game of chess. It's all about having a strategy and thinking further ahead than the other player. Back in early March, look who we can see in Exhibit E to the motion that Ripple listed as a person who would have knowledge about the case. Right there, number 8, there he is, Mr. William Hinman, and Ripple says in this disclosure that he would have notice of the, quote, determination that Bitcoin and Ether were not securities. Now I saw that and I thought, well, Mr. Ripple attorney Gary Gasparov, you probably knew back in January that you would end up in front of Judge Nutburn arguing a motion to quash a deposition. Well played indeed. Thank you always for watching. In farewell, allow me to quote from the notorious B.I.G. You know very well who you are. Don't let them hold you down. Reach for the stars.
Discover better buys for kids.
So welcome to the daily log. We have a we're running a modus operandi each time we do this. That's a learning curve, shall we say. So I'm on a learning curve at the moment. And, learning, this guy's actually pretty good, but I'll let it go for there. I'll get back to this guy later. The third character in this trilogy, or trio, of the three amigos for XRP, is caricature avatar, or a otherwise non-legal person. So, if one is not a legal person, where does one stand with respect to being sued? So, what's a legal person? When a company is formed, it, among other characteristics, obtains the status as a legal person, which means it can sue and be sued. So then manslaughter and murder can only be levelled at a legal person, so that companies can be are liable or subject to prosecution if they've committed offences in that regard of manslaughter. So for the Crypto Serpent, who gives a disclaimer, as they all do, and it shouts out to this caricature, because the quality of content is far better than the coverage of the crypto environment, the global crypto marketplace, which was 3 trillion now. According to Dusty, it's dropped to 1.7, 1.6, 1.5. So the volume of the market would be interesting stat to cover. But these three, Crypto Serpent in particular, excellent usage of a tool that, and give it a plug because it's a good one, I won't here. Excellent usage of that. This guy's doing things that I would otherwise do myself. So, you know, when the information, it's not live real time. It could be if the stream, you know, if you want it, I suppose. But I'd pay for that service over CNBC if I was a one-horse town with regard to the portfolio. So I've got cash, I've got crypto. So I've got zero liquidity. I've got credit and approaching maximum density, a la, you know, not a lot by way of available balance, but that's okay. So the crypto world is in for a bit of a bath, much like all risk assets currently, not in my view, but in summary as reported on some of these major media outlets. What's less known though is the state of XRP and other crypto assets that are shit canned in the common media and the man on the street, and in the courts and in the definition. The definitions have not been constructed yet. The regulatory framework, this is 8 years in, the regulatory framework has given the market an 8-year, or has it, were there not questions asked along the pathway till now from 8 years prior with regard to regulatory framework? It's a global business, $3 trillion it once was worth before the SEC exposed their incompetence, absolute rank incompetence. The corruption at the SEC can be smelt from Australia, where it stinks. They also, it stinks in Denmark as well. And it does because there's a prevailing breeze whenever America farts and shits all over the fucking international regulatory framework, which though I know we don't have jurisdiction, do you not? Effectively you do, because your influence is such that whenever America sneezes, the world gets a cold. We're going to throw up the amount of times we hear that. So is it not about time America started to, I wouldn't say, you know, lead. You know, this word in America, the word lead in terms of regulation, lead, you know, the world leader are yous. One of the, you know, the ninth, no, that's California's only the ninth greatest economic power or something, ninth strongest economy by GDP, largely due to the movies. But you've got some pull and you know it, and to just sit on your hands for 8 years and then throw the markets into turmoil, complete with the blunt instrument that was Clayton, whom after his tenure at the SEC gave notice, and within that, 2 weeks within the notice period or something, he's dropped a bomb on the Ripple founders. Ripple are a technology, blockchain technology. They have two components. One is Ripple, the other is XRP. XRP is a technology developed by Ripple, which is known as a cryptocurrency. The rest is history, and it's looking very bad for the SEC, America generally, and democracy. Democracy, when you point the finger at the Kremlin, right, the finger gets pointed, and then it's a very bad look when I find myself empathizing with Putin. There's a far gone twist. don't even want to mention the character's name because it's you know, it's all his picture's often there with some reporter that's been slain or is in a hospital bed or you know, someone got a bad cup of tea. I'm just saying, you know, international flights can be murder. So, you know, empathising with Putin. Why? Because they're no better at the SEC. Oh, that's a stretch. Rightio, we'll take out the murder, right, and come back on that spectrum toward the centre and think, well, what have they done? Second last week or day of the job, I don't know, doesn't matter. The former head of the SEC or former member of the SEC, Clayton, has thrown a shit can at Ripple, at its founding members, and then left the job and went and worked for a competitor of Ripple. And the headwind Ripple has had amidst this uncertainty over the characterisation of a security and whether there was an infringement by the two directors of Ripple for infringing upon the issuance of capital and the requirement, right? So they made an infringement because they didn't issue effectively in Australian corporate law parlance a prospectus. So if one has a quick glossary over the prospectus, and really the main implication is that it's not lawful, was not lawful in Australia to invite the public to invest in a venture if there was not the issuance of a prospectus. So then the rules around issuing a prospectus thereafter actually are driving what the wannabe promoters are able to do, and the truth. See the level of truth in the prospectus, right? The level of truth in the prospectus, and the level of compliance in the prospectus, and then you've got to when you do your backdoor entry to the secondary markets and then onto the main board of the ASX. Back in the day, it used to be that you had to have certain qualified and quantified opinions. You couldn't just throw any old shit in a fucking, you know,